As we speak, evacuations are underway as Milton barrels toward Florida as a dangerous Category 4 storm. Take a look at your screen. You can see the traffic buildup on I-75 in Orlando this morning. Wow, look at all those people trying to get out. Forecasters say Milton is expected to make landfall in the next 48 hours, bringing dangerous storm surges, flooding, and winds. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy joins us now with more. Chris.
This is going to be a generational storm. We said that about our event as well, and we talked about it on our to-go show. It's so disappointing that we just overcame pretty much passing 1916 here and then the 1921 storm there. So here's the most recent update that we have. It became a monster, up to 180 mile per hour winds. Luckily, it's not going to make landfall at that point. But I want to show you what this has been doing. So this is a classic example of just that eye wall replacement cycle. So oftentimes for a hurricane to get stronger, it loses its eye wall and then it starts to spin, and it starts to form a new one that's usually a little bit larger. We're indeed seeing that. So this will allow it to strengthen a little bit further before it starts to weaken and hit some wind shear before landfall. So we peaked up to 180. This is a 95 mile per hour increase in 24 hours, a record-breaking storm. And here's what it's going to do. The most recent update at 11 a.m. 150 miles per hour winds expected by about 6 p.m. I think it maybe could touch Category 5 strength before coming back down once it gets a little bit closer to Florida. So 8 a.m. 145 mile per hour winds. That's still a Category 4. It likely is going to make landfall, I would say, really through the overnight hours, close to about midnight to the early morning, right around the Tampa area. This cone hasn't fluctuated too much. As it gets a little bit closer and closer, it's going to narrow. The cone of uncertainty really starts to hone in where the worst impacts are going to be. But regardless, because of the size of this storm, it's really anywhere from around Tampa, Clearwater, down to Fort Myers. Significant storm surge up to 10 to 15 feet is going to be a possibility. This is one part of the storm. We're so focused in on Tampa, but it's moving so fast that it's going to cruise across Florida less than 12 hours. So that means by the end of the day, realistically, you're starting off with a major hurricane and you can see sunshine behind this. That means areas like Orlando that we're not mentioning around Disney World could have winds around 100 miles per hour at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then by the evening, it's well out to sea. That's 8 p.m. It's a hurricane Category 1, about 50 to 75 miles offshore. You could still have some clouds lingering behind that, and then it'll weaken to a tropical storm. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, a front that moved through yesterday is trapped down towards the south. That kind of acts like atmospheric traffic. So this blocking is going to allow us to look like this for the coming days. And we definitely need this pattern after all the rain that we just saw, especially in western North Carolina. Now, today's highs 69 in Boone, 77 in Charlotte. That's delightful. And one of my favorite studies that I have ever read is it says for ideal human comfort, and it really depends who you are. It says it's the mid-70s, humidity around 50%, light winds and mostly sunny skies. That is perfection. Now, some people like a little bit hotter and colder. Depends on what side of the Goldilocks spectrum you're on, but still near perfect for many of us, or at least according to that study. This evening's forecast, temperatures drop down in the lower 60s by 10 p.m. Tonight's forecast, 52 in Charlotte, 42 in Boone, Chilly Willy. Check out those lows. Even 47 degrees on Saturday morning. So the mid-70s looks like is what we could be rocking Friday and Saturday morning. Mid-40s again is what I meant to say, not the 70s, 40s heading into next Wednesday. In the mountains, even colder. Could have our first batch of freezing temperatures the middle of the following week. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, it's a boring forecast. Boring is good, my friends. From Tuesday to Monday, ranging from 70 to 80 degrees. The warmest day looks to be Sunday. The coolest day looks to be Friday.